Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And this one challenged me a little bit. I had to kind of think it through, and I've come to the conclusion that for myself this message makes sense. It actually took two messages that I've given repeatedly, but twisted it. So, we'll see what you think. We'll see what your thoughts are on this. But should be an interesting ponder. And then I have something to share with you about a change that is upcoming and a couple of other things that are going on. So we've got some stuff to talk about. But let's settle in first. Let's focus on grounding ourselves solidly to Mother Earth and opening our heart space. Good morning, Nancy. Glad you are here. I read something yesterday that again reaffirmed how important it is for all of us to have an open heart space in these difficult times. Good morning, good morning. Glad you are here. Because what we're heading into requires expansiveness. Spaciousness. That's one of my new words, spaciousness. So in spite of, good morning, Abigail, glad you're here. In spite of what's going on in our world right now and that tendency to want to hunker down, we need to be open. So just pop your shoulders back. Notice what that feels like. For some people, it feels kind of exposed. But openness is where we're going to find the portal to where we're headed. Thank you for all the pretty little pictures. I like those, especially that sunflower. Makes me think of summertime. So we'll give it a minute for others to pop on, but let's do some tapping and some breathing. We're just focusing on opening and grounding. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. There's my little counter. I wondered where that was. It's wrong. It says 1 instead of 2, but nonetheless, there it is. Breathe in, breathe out, sending your roots down into Mother Earth. Your root chakra grounding into Mother Earth. Deeply, deeply. So the winds of what's going on doesn't faze you. You flow with the wind. You can move with the wind. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold at the top. And let it go. Doesn't that feel nice? Kind of wakes everything up, gets everything moving. So, how today's card came to be, let me tell you one of the things that, one of the things that is going to be shifting. Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Beth. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Looks like someone else is here too, according to the counter. Glad you are here. I was talking to my amazing virtual assistant yesterday, Morgan, and we've been talking about, good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome. We've been talking about going live to multiple platforms at once. And I've done that in the way distant past, but it was a cumbersome process. Oh, thank you. I've got a meeting, so I thought I would dress up a bit. It was a cumbersome process, and I didn't really feel like it captured what I was hoping to capture with these. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome. So they now have much updated processes for going live on multiple platforms at once. Good morning, Jonille. Welcome. So she's going to be setting me up with one called StreamYard. And the gist is that when I go live on one platform, which to date has been Facebook on my business page, it simultaneously will go live on all my other platforms. So LinkedIn, Instagram, all the things, right? And so we were talking about the implications of doing that, and I was showing her, because I was asking questions, does it put the header on all of the platforms? And does it, good morning, Deb, glad you are here. And does it how does it track things, and how do I know who's on? And so she was telling me that the same way the feed rolls your names now, it would then roll your names with the little indicator beside as to which platform you're watching from. So if someone's on LinkedIn watching, I'll see the LinkedIn little button. If you're on Facebook watching, I'll see the Facebook little button. Thought, oh, this is cool. But as I was going through showing her how I currently manually post to the multiple platforms, she goes, wait a minute, back up there. What did you just do? Here I am thinking LinkedIn is not one of my best platforms, and that there are, what I was looking at and where I knew there were two, like a personal sort of a page and the business page, and that my understanding was I was posting to each of those, but that the personal page, people have to choose to go to it. The business page rolls in the LinkedIn feed and people can find it that way. Come to find out, I was wrong. And I'm thinking I have 55 followers on LinkedIn. And she told me how to get to the other page. There's over 2,000 people on there. And not only that, I don't post anything there. Other than when I see someone else's post, good morning, Maureen, and I like it and share it, then it goes to that page. 2,000 people watching me sporadically post something. So imagine what's going to happen when I actually am posting to them. So this will be the first one, actually, that she now taught me how to do it. I know. Me and tech, we're tight. We're good. Yeah. So now I have a whole different method to my madness, and it's about patterns. It's about how we learn to do something, and when something changes that forces us to change. Like recently when Facebook made the decision that they weren't going to keep videos for any longer than 30 days, I had to make a change. I had to store them elsewhere, so they're on YouTube. And when I share the link to LinkedIn and Instagram and all the others, it's taking now the YouTube link and putting it there as opposed to the Facebook link and putting it there. So I had to change my pattern. So now when, and we're going to do a little test run on the 16th. And then on the 17th, which, if you haven't heard, is supposed to be an energetically auspicious day. And I have a cousin who has a birthday on the 17th. That'll be pretty amazing. The 17th is likely to be the first day that I will go live on all the platforms. So we will see how this goes. We will see how teaching the old dog new tricks actually goes. But when I pulled the card for today, I'm like, how does this fit? It fits. The Oracle of E deck, Pam Grout and Colette Baron-Reid. And again, if you have not read the book, E squared and E cubed, they're fabulous. It's basically experiments that were conducted to help us realize and understand there's far more than we're aware of. Far more. So our card for today, if you happen to have the deck, is number 10, Over Your Shoulder. Over your shoulder. So let's take a breath. Opening to the message. Let it go. Wide open to receiving this information. Over your shoulder. Those reoccurring patterns in your life, throw them overboard. Whoever said those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it was full of bunk. And I immediately startled there and went, wait a minute. I totally agree with that. We don't pay attention to history and we repeat it again. But here's the rest of that. You only repeat patterns when you continue to stare at them. You get hypnotized and then act them out. Take one last look back, if you must, and then say sayonara for good. So the basic gist of what they are saying there is when we have patterns that are unquestioned, when we haven't looked at something at a deeper level, when we simply get taught something and accept that that's what it is, that's when the patterns continue. Think about children and what they're taught. Think about the stuff that we were taught in school that hopefully they're not teaching anymore. I know there's issues with that, but nonetheless, oftentimes we don't question that stuff. I mean, there was that one meme that was going around on Facebook years ago, but the gist was it was a young wife and husband, and she was preparing Easter dinner, and she took the ham and she cut the ends off, stuck it in the pan, stuck it in the oven. He goes, "Why'd you cut the ends off it?" She goes, "I don't know, my mother always did." So she called her mother and said, "Mom, why do you cut the ends off the ham?" "Well, I don't know, Grandma always did it." Called Grandma, and Grandma said, "The ham was too big to fit in the pan." You know, those old-fashioned hams? So she cut the ends off it. Everyone since cut the ends off it without understanding why they were doing what they were doing. How many of those things are there? When you got a roommate and you did something one way and they're like, "Why do you do it like that?" It was how you were taught to do it, right? They may do it a different way that makes more sense, or a different way that it really doesn't matter. One way or the other, you still get to the same outcome, but you each were taught a different way. Tying your shoes. Who made bunny ears? Who made the ones that you go around and pull it through? It's just a different way of doing it. You get the same end result. But how much of that stuff is still a part of our lives that we haven't questioned? And right now, I think we are in this huge window of opportunity to question and jettison the things that really don't serve us. How many beliefs do we have that really don't serve us? Yeah, same with husbands. "Why do you do it like that? That's not how my mom did it." Well, then go back and live with your mom. So, a time of questioning and a time of curiosity. So it's not being judgmental as much as it is looking at what of this works and what of it doesn't work. And as more things change and as more things open up energetically and we have access to more skills and abilities, a lot of things are going to drop by the wayside. A lot of things are not going to be, they're going to be outdated. So, are you willing? Are you ready, willing, and able to look at the things that you do and how you do them, to look at the things that you think, what you believe, and truly question them? Is this serving me? Is this helping me get where I want to get? Is this lining me up to be ready to move into this greater period of access? Am I setting myself up well? Am I setting myself up not so well? Ask the questions and then do the work. Do the work. So to me, the things that are most important right now is clearing that open space and allowing it to be uncomfortably open, having an open heart, which again, many of us want to shut down right now because it's painful dealing with what's going on. Have as open a heart as you can manage. Be as, the word that's coming to me is collegial. Be as collegial as possible. Focus on collaboration, cooperation, being a part of, participating, doing the herd animal thing. As we do so, again, I think it sends powerful messages to the universe and to other humans. Here's where we're headed. Here's what we do want. Here's what we are willing to work for. We're not putting our time and energy into the stuff that does not serve us. Does not serve us. You can, I'll give you one little mulligan, all right? You can grieve the loss of some of that stuff. You can take a moment to go, ain't it terrible, horrible, awful. Then move on. Because if all we do, like it says in here, if what we're doing is focusing on the ain't it terrible, horrible, awful, we're creating more of that. That's all we're going to see is terrible, horrible, awful. If we do that sucked, here's what I want instead. How can I work toward what I want instead? How can I engage those around me in what we want instead, in what's better for humanity and all humanity, not just a little section of humanity? How do we empower ourselves to create what it is that we want? So let me read it again, because it's one of those messages I think we kind of got to hear a couple times to really get in the groove with it. Over your shoulder. Those reoccurring patterns in your life, throw them overboard. Whoever said those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it was full of bunk. You only repeat patterns when you continue to stare at them. You get hypnotized and then act them out. Take one last look back if you must, and then say sayonara for good. Focus on what you do want. Put your efforts toward creating what you do want. Okay? So, preparing for the 17th, when my plan is to go live on all platforms and to have much of that become more automated instead of manual. This will be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that impacts things. Also, this coming Sunday will still be here. I'm headed for a retreat with my beloved coffee group, and we are going to have 3 or 4 days to ourselves, just to be at a cool little retreat center. And so my plan is to still go live in the mornings. I'll have to take a look at, because that's Eastern time. So we'll have to see what happens in terms of time. But my plan is to go live. But I won't be posting them to the other platforms while I'm gone. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week will be just on Facebook business page. And we'll see what kind of a signal I can get up there in the boondocks. So for today, I want you pondering this message. I want you thinking about, what do I do kind of mindlessly? What do I believe unexamined? What am I ready to let go of? What is no longer serving me? Start cleaning out the coffers here, making room for that open space into which this higher order of being, capital B, can flow. That's your mission for today, should you choose to accept it. Have an awesome Wednesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.